Look, many girls have power, but there is no posture, grace, no boundaries, value, but you've advertised yourself cheaply. And now hear me very carefully. The way people treat you is often in respect to what you permit, what you project, and what you give out. Listen carefully, precious daughter. There is a mystery in the spirit, and if you do not understand it early, life will keep repeating lessons with pain. Many of you keep asking God in tears, why don't they value me? Why do they overlook me? Why do they speak to me anyhow? Why do they come close and yet never stay with honor? And this is what I want to tell you, the truth you may not like, but this is the truth that will set you free. Respect is not begged for. You cannot demand for respect with tears. It's commanded when you are aligned. There are reasons why people rise when they enter a room and reasons why people speak carelessly to others without fear. It's not beauty, it's not age, it's not even talent. It's something deeper and spiritual, and it's called, look, many girls have power, but there is no posture, grace, no boundaries, value, but you've advertised yourself cheaply. And now hear me very carefully. The way people treat you is often in respect to what you permit, what you project, and what you give out. There are girls who laugh at everything, even what should make them cry. There are girls who explain themselves to everyone, even those who have no authority in their lives. There are girls who give emotional access to people who have not earned spiritual permission. And when people see this, you unconsciously lose reverence in the spirit. Familiarity in the spirit without honor produces contempt. When you make yourself too available, too predictable, people stop handling you with care. Not because you're not valuable, but because value that is exposed without honor is abuse. Listen, Jesus was meek, but Jesus wasn't cheap. Jesus was loving, but Jesus wasn't careless. There were people around him, but access to him was controlled. Now, even God himself doesn't reveal everything to everyone. If Almighty God values boundaries, then how about you? Some of you were taught to be nice, but not taught to be very discerning. Now you were taught to be quiet, but not taught to be confident. So you grew up apologizing for everything, your existence, laughing to be accepted, overgiving to be loved. And slowly, respect has left the room. Now, let me shock you. People don't always disrespect you because they're evil. Many times, they disrespect you because you don't respect yourself enough to enforce order. When you tolerate jokes that wound you, you train people to wound you again. When you accept inconsistencies, you announce that stability is not required when people want to access you. When you keep explaining your worth, you prove that you don't believe it. In the realm of the spirit, honor responds to clarity. When a woman knows who she is, confusion cannot stay around her. When a girl understands her assignment, casual people become uncomfortable, and that discomfort is not your problem. It's evidence of growth. Some of you are too loud in places where silence is supposed to give you authority, and too silent when your voice is required. Respect does not come from noise, it comes from weight. And weight comes from depth, discipline, and self-governance. Watch this. The same people who ignore you today will adjust tomorrow when you change posture. Not because they suddenly became good, but because something in you shifted. The spirit will always react when alignment changes. You must learn the power of no. Not angrily, not rudely, but firmly. You must learn that being kind does not mean being careless. You must learn that access to you is a privilege and not a right. And until you have come to the full understanding of this, life will teach you through pain what wisdom should have taught you through instruction. You're not ordinary, you're not replaceable. But if you keep behaving like you're optional, people will treat you as such. Heaven does not play with your identity. So when God defines a thing, he defines it. But you must agree with his definition. The moment you stop chasing validation, respect will start chasing you. People will start listening to you when you speak. The moment you stop begging to be chosen, you will become the standout. This is not about pride. It's about order. It's about alignment. It's about restoring the dignity God has placed upon you before opinions touch you. So today, adjust your posture, guard your heart, filter your words, choose your access, walk slowly, speak wisely, and watch how the same world of people that ignored you begin to handle you with care. Not because you changed your face or your value, but because you finally honored it. There's a great deception many people carry through life, and it is the belief that respect is something you negotiate for with people. You don't negotiate for respect. You don't beg for it with silence. You don't buy it. It follows alignment and not approval. And until this truth settles in your spirit, you will keep exhausting yourself trying to be accepted by people who were never assigned to honor you. Many of us grew up learning how to read moods instead of learning how to stand in identity. You learn how to adjust yourself so people will be comfortable, but you were never taught how to remain consistent so that people will be correct. So you enter rooms already editing yourself, reducing yourself, suffering convictions, laughing at things that hurt you, agreeing with things that confuse you, all in the name of peace. But peace without alignment is not peace. It's compromise disguised as kindness. The spirit realm responds to other. Heaven does not reward noise. Heaven responds to structure. And when your life is not aligned, people may like you, but they will never respect you. Approval is emotional. Respect is spiritual. Approval comes from feelings. Respect comes from perception. People approve of what pleases them, for they respect what carries weight. Many of you want to be liked, but you were designed to be regarded, and there is a big difference. When you chase approval, you lose authority. When you prioritize alignment, authority begins to speak for you without effort. That's why people don't talk much, yet their presence silences a room. It's not volume, it's alignment. Alignment means that your worth match your value, your emotions obey your convictions, and your access is governed by wisdom and not loneliness. When a woman is aligned, she does not need to announce herself. She does not need to announce who she is. The atmosphere adjusts. Confusion can stay around that environment. Confusion can stay around clarity. Many girls are offended by how people treat them, but they've never examined how you treat yourself. You apologize too quickly. You explain too much. You tolerate inconsistencies. You keep returning to places where your value is questioned. And the spirit world records pattern. Men records pattern. People respond to patterns. When your life lacks alignment, people sense it even if they can't explain it. They may not know what is wrong, but they know something is missing. And instead of rising to meet you, they descend to manage you. That is when jokes increase. That is when boundaries are crossed and crushed and familiarity begins to remove honor. Don't resist this truth. Not everyone who disrespects you hates you. Some disrespect you because your life signals permission. Alignment removes that permission. Alignment says, this is who I am and this is how I function. And if you can't get it, forget about it. Jesus was never rude, but he was never confused. He never explained himself to everybody. He didn't answer all questions. He didn't heal everybody that demanded it. He worked in alignment with an assignment, and because of that, even demons recognized him. Authority responds to alignment before it responds to words. When you are aligned, you stop trying to prove your worth. You stop auditioning for spaces you were not sent to. You stop begging for consistency. You stop over-functioning in relationships. You start moving slower, speaking fewer words and observing more, deciding with wisdom. Now, respect does not come when people finally understand you. It comes from when you understand yourself. When you know who you are, you stop accepting roles that contradict who you are. When you know your value, you stop negotiating your standards. You stop discussing it. When you know your assignment, you stop being distracted by people's opinions. Alignment will cost you applause. Some people will leave when you stop overgiving. Some will call you proud. You're not very proud. When you start setting boundaries, you start hearing things like, you've changed. Because you don't go with them. The tragedy is not that people do not respect you. It's when you keep living out of alignment just to be approved by those who can't define your destiny. The moment alignment becomes more important than acceptance, something shifts in the spirit. Something shifts in your voice, in your life, in your presence. Something shifts in the way people look at you. Now, people will now start to listen to you more and approach you. Let me speak to you with all honesty and all love. Boundaries are not walls of pride. They're gates of wisdom. In the kingdom of God, access is always controlled by order. When boundaries are assessed, value is abused. because it is exposed without protection. You guys confuse tolerance with virtue. You were told that enduring everything makes you strong, silence makes you spiritual, accepting bad behavior makes you mature. But hear this truth: endurance without wisdom is self betrayal. God has never called you to be available to everyone, He called you to be stewards of yourself. The way people handle you is a direct response to the rules you set around your life. If your time is always available, it will never be honored. If your emotions are always accessible, they will never be protected. If your presence is always guaranteed, it would never be valued. Boundaries teach people how to approach you, how to speak to you, and how to remain in your life. In the spirit realm, honor follows structure. And even in heaven, there are ranks, orders, and protocols. Angels do not move randomly, they move by assignment. And if heaven functions with boundaries, then why do you think your life can function without them? You keep asking why people are crossing your line, but you've not drawn any line. You keep hoping people will understand, but clarity was never spoken. Silence does not communicate standards. Unspoken expectations always lead to repeated disappointments. Boundaries are not emotional reactions, they're spiritual decisions. They're not built in anger, they're established in alignment. And when you finally decide what's acceptable and when it's not, your life becomes easier and not harder. Chaos reduces when clarity increases. And many people are uncomfortable around boundaries because boundaries expose intentions. Those who benefit from your lack of limit will resist when limit appears. And do not be surprised when people who once enjoyed unlimited access begin to accuse you of changing. You didn't change, you grew. Boundaries do not push the right people away, they protect the right people and filter out the wrong ones. Anyone who truly values you will adjust to your standards. Anyone who refuses to adjust was never assigned to stay. When you don't set boundaries, you teach people that disrespect has no consequences. And when there are no consequences, behavior never changes. People repeat what you allow. Patterns fall when limits are absent. Many girls are really emotionally exhausted, not because life is hard, but because everyone has access to you. You carry problems you are not meant to carry. You listen to voices you are not meant to listen. You explain yourself to people who have no authority to define you. Boundaries are what restore dignity and honor to your time, your word, and your presence. When you begin to say no without guilt, something powerful happens to your spirit, and your yes becomes meaningful again, and your presence becomes intentional again. Your peace returns. Hi, everyone. This is Deborah Augustine, and this is the Uncut Serenity. Thank you so much for being here. Stick with this, that kindness without defense is vulnerability. God is loving, yet He's holy. He's gracious, yet He is just. And even mercy has rules. Until the next time, don't forget to subscribe, share this, and save a girl. Lastly, stop being the nice girl.